if we start thinking about God the way he's supposed to be represented, he's supposed to be the most unbelievably good, kind, loving, intelligent being that can possibly exist, the definition of good. So anything that would kind of get me to fall off of that would mean I'm going off my own interpretation instead of what any scripture would say. Because
Yeah.
God is supposed to be so good. And if he's the cause of bad things in my mind, well, that's not actually God that's to blame. That's something else. Maybe that's humanity. Maybe that could be Satan. Or maybe it's just because, for example, like a lot of food companies like put cancerous things in their food, bad ingredients, and it causes bad, and it's just like we just have a bad food culture in America, for example, or it could be so
Yeah.
many things. Could be that there's natural disasters. Could be because someone did something stupid and now other people have to pay for it. Never know. But I would start with the of the universe being what Christians would define it as instead of what I want to define it as because I'm mad at God, for example.
Exactly. And the argument too becomes, why didn't he stop it?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
becomes the next part, is why, not even so much as why does he allow bad things to happen, which I know is our question, but why don't he stop? But if he is all powerful and all knowing, which we believe, why could he not jump in? And then, I know as an atheist, I'd be like, well, your child murdering deity is not my God because that's not good. That's not all good. And the answer to that is that, like, my thought is, what is good without bad?
Right.
How do you have a concept of good if you don't have a concept of bad? Kind of like when what is truth?
Mm.
And somebody
Who
says,
defines it?
you had mentioned that, and somebody says, like, oh, there is no truth. And it's like, but is that true? Is that a true statement?
Exactly.
So then there
Exactly.
absolutely is a truth. Then there is. And, it's not something I would say you gotta walk up to people at a funeral and be like, hey, it's cool. God's got to figure it out. Don't worry, don't sweat it. I know your
Hey,
loved one died, but like it's the knowing, and that comes from the person knowing that there is an answer. It may not be readily available. It may not be understood. It may not be understood until years later that we go, because of this thing, this horrible thing happened. It
right.
doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, the devil Snidely Whiplash, if you know who that villain is, like twirled his mustache and made it happen. It's
Right.
the bad things can happen not because of the sake of he just wants bad things to happen or the devil just wants bad stuff to happen. It can be more than that.
Right.
And
Yeah,
to a degree.
I
To a degree.
think
To a degree.
I think like there's two parts to that question. Like one
Yeah.
is who is defining good and bad, right and wrong, evil and great, like what's truly purely good. And, if it comes down to the individual, then well, what's good to me is bad to you. It's bad to me is good to you. It's like you can go on. It's like a circle. If you say a society, well, what's wrong with what if my society, like my town or my state or my country, believes one thing and then another country believes the total opposite? Who's right and who's wrong? So it has to, no matter what's good, has to come from outside of humanity. It
Yep.
has to be discovered, not created. And I think most people know what's good and bad, but I think that the only way you can know how to tell how it's good, like why is this good or bad, is to seek whatever that higher thing is. And
Yeah.
so that's what I looked for. Like when I started my whole journey, I was just questioning what purpose was, the purpose of life. And I remember interviewing people at a college one time because I was trying to get people's answers. And I said, at that point, I thought everyone had a purpose in life. And this one guy came up to me and said, well, what about Jeffrey Dahmer? Like, was that his purpose? Was he supposed to do all those horrible things to people? And it really stopped me because I was trying to find the answer without God. I thought, oh, the universe just gives us all purpose, or we create our own purpose. But that doesn't sound like a purpose I want to get behind. It doesn't sound like a purpose at all. It sounds like this guy missed his mark. And so, from a Christian perspective, I would think that people like that did not live their purpose because you can't it's hard to live your purpose if you are living for yourself all the time. Like, what if your purpose is to do something greater than what's just for you, you know?
And we to add, that's actually a really good example. Because to add to that is the individual journey within. So using the Jeffrey Dahmer example, horrific,
Right.
horrific stuff. Absolutely, like
It's like, how can there be a good God if that guy exists, you know?
Exactly, like how so? And it's interesting because Dahmer did actually end up converting in jail. He was a very
Right.
massive advocate for
Oh my
faith
gosh.
in jail, which now he had a whole bunch of other things going on. And there was that kind of issue. And so in that regards, he did come to faith late. That's where you insert the free will occasion. What is free will and what is predestination? Does God have the free will to choose, or does God predetermine everything? That's what I wrestled with, like growing up.
Right. Yeah, I remember studying determinism. I was looking into stoicism, and I thought, well, it doesn't matter what we do because everything is just controlled anyways by some random force or something. And but then I
God
thought,
already
well,
knows what I'm going to decide, so what's the point?
right. It's like, but then am I even thinking this then? If it's just determined, then I don't actually have the free will to say I'm thinking this. This is just a script off of some cosmic plan that I'm not even actually part of, you know?
Yeah.
So I thought that just didn't make any sense. I think that it comes down to like the easiest question ever, man. Like, what's the point of life?
Right. Oh yeah, that's like I'm sitting here thinking back and I was like, let me correct my statement that if God with God there is no bad thing, because there is bad things. So it's like, okay, hold up. Trying to like, all right, let me fix my definition. What am I trying to say? Yeah, I mean, it just kind of becomes with there being evil. I'm trying to put all my thoughts together. With there being bad things that occur, good can come out of it. And is that the example of Christ in things, or Christ, God, whatever you want to call it, and in things? Is that an example of it? Is the perseverance through the evil? Maybe there was the evil action and the horrific floods that killed, I forgot what the number is. It was absolutely
And
tragic.
one or more, man. It doesn't
A
matter.
hundred, yeah, 100 or so. And on the contrary, a lot of people have come together to help. Not that that is saying that that's the purpose, absolutely not.
Right.
But there has been some good in the midst of that horrific tragedy.
Yeah, you're not
And
justifying that it happened. You're just saying that is there
yeah,
even a percent chance that any good could happen after something so bad? And there are good things that come out of it. Not that it's something you want to happen or stand for. It's just that it's like, you know what? That's just an interesting thought is, because I've gone through a lot of bad things in my life that have happened to me, but there have been some good things that have come out of it as well.
well, the contrary to that too is if you go to the atheistic point of view and you say that's not God because that's not good.
Right, right,
Anything bad is not God. And if God allowed anything bad to happen, then there is no God. That kind of logic. With that becomes the idea that if there is no good, then nothing good could come from it, period. End of
right.
story. The kids a lot of the time tragically lost their lives and nothing else can happen. Where, they don't need help. They don't need any of this stuff would be the reaction for it. Okay, they
Yeah,
just figure it out. That sucks. All right, moving on. And that's kind of the reaction it becomes. And there's still the faith that even though these bad things happen, knowing that God's grace can shine some way, in some capacity. Not
right.
as the answer, not as the cure-all, not as the fix, but it can shine through. Is kind of my where I'm thinking with it.
Right. And God isn't causing these things to happen, but he can allow these things to happen. I think that's the thing too, is like a lot of times as a very skeptical agnostic, I was very just heartbroken with the world and with myself, with everything. I didn't want to see a God exist because I didn't understand. I would just put all my blame on him and
Yep.
say, why me? Why are you allowing this stuff to happen? And I just didn't get it. And
I
I
mean, even
think
in the church itself, sorry to cut you off, but even in the church itself, the evil that is within there, my gosh, that became
right, right. Yeah, I know
big.
people who've gone through a lot of things because of the church, and it's just crazy. Like so many atheists I talk to that I'm friends with are previously like from a Catholic church or something, or Mormon church, or and it's just hard. But I think that what's really important is to look at who is the God of the Bible claiming to be, because